We observe from the outside, and it's a period of pressure, of sanctions, of criticism that your country has been subjected to for some time. Can we speak of an ongoing process of diplomatic isolation of Rwanda?
There are many ways of looking at it, but for those who want to look at it that way, I can't stop them. The way this conflict started, it was not started by Rwanda. It did not originate from Rwanda. That negligence by those who should have handled it the right way made FDLR an issue for a long time and continued to constitute a threat against Rwanda, especially when it is being fed and supported by a government. Sanctions or kinds of threats or literally just insults being hurled at Rwanda as if we have done anything other than defending ourselves and making sure that no threat crosses the border into Rwanda from anywhere, and this particularly from Eastern Congo. It's like you are blaming the victim and praising the perpetrator. So the easiest thing to do here is to blame Rwanda and heap all the penalties and whatever onto Rwanda because it is easy. They are doing what is easy for them to do. The blame, the sanctions, the threats of anything else, it's easy. But can it give a solution when you are keeping quiet about the real issues, the root cause?
More precisely, on March 2, the American Treasury imposed sanctions against the RDF and 4 of its leaders, including the chief of staff, demanding the immediate withdrawal of your troops from Eastern Congo because of their support to the M23. Do you plan to agree with this requirement?
If you look at the recent agreements, you can't come up and expect that only one party will fulfill their part of obligation and the other is to be considered somehow, sometime, or not at all. So in other words, the situation you are talking about and which we are discussing is like there are many parties who have obligations to fulfill. But Rwanda is the one that should fulfill its side of obligations and the others can choose to or not to. There is the United States that also brought us together and are part of the effort to try and help us resolve this conflict. They are also obliged to make sure that they are really pushing us, let me use that, Congo and Rwanda, in the right direction, even-handedly. So the US, much as they can do it, or may do it if they want, but it doesn't give good results at all, if at all, to just choose which side you should put a lot of weight on, and the other you should handle lightly for maybe other reasons, which I'm not conversant with. So, but if you pick and choose, and one morning you say, no, I will go with this one, then there is a problem. It just won't give us good results.
Yes, but it seems, and you know that the taking of the city of Uvira by the M23 just 6 days after the signing of the Washington Agreement, was perceived by the Americans as American administration as sort of outrage, an affront.
I think it was selective. People chose to understand it the way they wanted to. Before the signing, 4th of December, of this agreement, there had been months, weeks or months of fighting, some of it originating from Uvira, others towards Uvira. This was way before the signing of the agreement. I'm saying that it is selective, the understanding is selective, because people think Uvira was just something that happened after the signing of the agreement, which is not true. Uvira did not happen by accident or just after the 4th of December. It was about to happen even as the agreement took place. The United States had been informed during almost day in, day out, week in, week out. They had been informed of the developments. So it couldn't be that therefore Uvira just happened after the 4th of December in defiance or in, ignoring the signing of the agreement. That's not true. But of course, again, as I said, being selective and people just doing whatever they want. There are some people in the whole process who will choose that to get to another level or to achieve a different kind of outcome as they wish.
Mr. President, your ambassador in Washington declared, it was on January 22nd, and I quote, Rwanda does engage in security coordination with AFC M23. I state this clearly to build trust through transparency. Everyone interpreted this as an acknowledgement of the fact that your defensive measures really mean a presence of your troops on the ground in Eastern Congo. Do you agree with this interpretation?
Yes, largely it makes sense. What ordinarily, what would anybody define defensive measures as? To do with the problems that are in Eastern Congo. It means a number of things. It means you may use equipment, you may use troops on the ground, it means to defend that territory. So I don't understand the contradiction. It is actually to defend our border. So if I'm defending my border, one morning I'm in 5 kilometers or 10 or 20 because of what I identified as the threat. And in another week, they have pulled back. Or in another week, if there was an equipment to deal with the matter that is threatening you, so there is no contradiction. Defensive measures have always been outlined as being there. First of all, having announced ourselves in different places, defensive measures we take, and defensive measures do not mean one thing.
Concerning those measures, defensive measures, Mr. President, if I'm not mistaken, Rwanda refuses to withdraw its troops from Eastern Congo until FDLR is eliminated.
We refuse to remove defensive measures, whether it means troops or troops and whatever else, we call it defensive measures. And in your logic, why would a threat be against me and you are asking me to remove my defensive measures, but you're not dealing with the threat. What is the logic?
But the DRC government insists that both must happen at the same time. Are you agree with that?
Actually, it is not even the government, it's not even the DRC that is insisting on that. We are the ones insisting on that. In fact, DRC, for them, it's like Rwanda is expected to do away with these defensive measures, but for them, they are not expected to do anything.
So a compromise solution is possible?
I would imagine so. Yes. And in fact, the compromise position is already indicated in many of these agreements we have had, including the one of Washington, D.C. But the previous ones have never been respected by DRC.
About Mr. Tshisekedi, during the signing of the Washington Accords last December, there was pictures, medias, and your body language and that of President Tshisekedi clearly demonstrated that your relationship remains very strained.
I didn't realize in my body language I was there.
Look, this image.
Yeah.
The body language is clear.
What?
You are not happy. And President Tshisekedi is not happy.
I didn't see anybody else smiling in that picture. So for me, I was listening. I was listening.
Okay. Do you, for your part, think that you will ever be able to reach an understanding with Mr. Tshisekedi again?
Maybe yes, maybe no. But I have no problem waiting until that happens or until we conclude that it won't happen. I'm comfortable with the status quo.
The recent visit of Jean-Luc Abiyarimana in Kinshasa seems to have worried the Rwandese government. Why? And do you know who he met?
It's not a worry, Francois. And it's also not once, by the way.
Isolated person, yes.
It depends. He's isolated, but together with Tshisekedi. I mean, what Tshisekedi is supposed to be a leader of DRC. So if he's associated with him, meaning he's benefiting from the government machinery and the leadership of Tshisekedi, how is he isolated? But the point here is not just about one person. Again, I keep repeating this. Habyarimana's son, in this case, is not just an individual. Tshisekedi of Congo has been trying to use him to mobilize the opinion, the support for FDLR. There are many people in France, by the way. It's not just, look, Habyarimana's son who lives there. Out of those constitute a network that is in the leadership or in association with FDLR. And now, when it comes to being associated with the president of DRC, how do you minimize it and say it doesn't make any sense? And when we are telling you that what is on the ground is actually a collusion and association between FDLR and the FARDC.
Mr. President, since the capture of Goma in January 25, the M23 has been accused of committing human rights violations, engaging in forced recruitment, and so on. Do you think M23 is better equipped than the Congolese government to deliver better governance?
There is a conflict in that area. There are problems that must be addressed, and there are known ways of addressing them. Actually, the situation today is better than it was before they took it off. That's what I'm told. Anyone can make their own assessment. It is better there in Goma and better in Bukavu than it was before.
And I suppose that the presence of AFC M23 on your border guarantees better border security with the DRC.
There is no question about it. In fact, the whole border now is secure. There is no question about it. Yes. Like it or not, it's a better situation for us as far as our security is concerned.
In the eyes of many commentators, and you know it, Mr. President, in the eyes of diplomats, media outlets, and so on, your structural objective in Eastern Congo is to maintain a zone of political, economic, and security influence until an agreement is reached with the Congolese government that you do not consider as hostile. Is it correct?
The issue is, as of now, as of yesterday, we want a peaceful coexistence. Okay? Right now, even in a conflict, as we said earlier, the zone controlled by AFC M23 is not an immediate danger to us. So, to some extent, we are comfortable with that. But we know that that is not the end of the road. There is a lot of work to be done in the context of there is Eastern Congo, but there is the whole of Congo. So, can Eastern Congo or the whole of Congo not be a danger to the neighbors, especially ourselves? These are the basic demands. I don't want anybody to threaten the security of our country. So we will be very hard on saying we have to secure our border. There's no question about it, by all means.
One of your objectives is to become a hub in mineral processing?
We have been a hub for many things. There's a financial hub here. There's
Regional.
Yes, regional hub. What is the problem? Why should this be an accusation against us? Why? By the way, because then they say, you see, they are there in the DRC because they want minerals. But are you aware that we have our own minerals here? You know? We have our own minerals here, and then minerals from outside are also welcome. It depends on the deal, so how you deal with it. The process of identifying the origin of these minerals, and so we are part of that. We can, certify everything that comes through here or that stays here.
Mr. President, does the presence of former President Kabila in Goma indicate that he got a green light from your government? And how close is he to you and of the Rwandan authorities?
I would be happy to ensure that those who want to come and be part of the Eastern Congo that belong there or belong to Congo and want to be part of the struggle to get a stable Congo, I would welcome them. It doesn't have to be Kabila, but we're talking about Kabila. Kabila made his own choice. His own choice of how he has his problems. You know how the current government has been running after him or has prosecuted him or has to death or maybe taken over some of his assets or whatever they did. So how does this person say he wants to confront this situation in his country and I refuse him passage? How? What sense would it make?
Mr. President, your development model rests in part on your good international reputation. Won't the sanctions risk damaging this reputation?
What should I be doing to keep my reputation and not risk sanctions. If I keep quiet, shall I actually keep the reputation? Because what is based on, what it was based on, is being destroyed. Maybe the sanctions have become just have become part of what threatens the stability of the country, our reputation, and so on and so forth. So these are difficult choices you have to make. But it is also clear, those who apply sanctions, they'll do what they want any day. You don't have to have done anything wrong. But because they are in the support of somebody who has done something wrong, who is doing something wrong, they will apply it if it is based on interest. And they don't have interest in me. How am I going to stop that? They have interest somewhere else. So there's no way I can say, okay, please forgive me, don't apply sanctions. I don't know what I can do because I don't understand the basis of their sanctions.
Your government, Mr. President, has raised the possibility of withdrawing troops from Mozambique if European aid to this mission is suspended. What is the European Union's response, and are you ready to carry out this threat?
I mean, we are not expected to be supportive of the effort in Mozambique or anywhere, and then we pay for it. So our presence there does not even depend on European Union, which was even giving a fraction of what we are actually spending.
$20 million.
Yeah, $20 million. But we are spending about 4 or 5 times that in running a force that is between maybe close about 5,000 plus the police force. No, we didn't ask for this 20 million before we even agreed to go and help Mozambique. And European Union, I don't know how they got confused about it, that they would be giving this money as a favor to us. No, actually it is a favor to Mozambique that we are helping. The companies there, operating there, Total, ExxonMobil, and others, and the government of Mozambique, whose assets these are, should figure out how to pay for the security they need. And comparing that amount of money to the volume of investment, it's very tiny. So now, do they need security or they don't? If they need security, they pay for it. If they don't need it, why would we even have to be there? The next day we should pack our bags and go.
One last and personal question, Mr. President. Last June, how can I put it? You completely disappeared from public view for 3 weeks.
3 weeks?
3. Almost no one knew where you were, and many rumors circulated on social media and the press concerning your health, to the point that the government had to deny them officially. So, did that surprise you first? And doesn't it raise the question of whether a head of state has a right to privacy, whether his life belongs to him alone, and whether he must respond to the public's demands for transparency?
Why is 3 weeks too much for not me personally not being seen in public. Why should it be too much? And even take a month, you can disappear. But these days I've been learning to take holidays and relax with my grandchildren, and so I will do more of this, I think. But let me tell you, if you take from anywhere 10 people randomly, here, France, London, UK, America, and took 100 people, okay, and include me among them, and you want to investigate how healthy they are,